Are you feeling overwhelmed? I'm sure if you're human, this happens to you, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Here's the thing that I've discovered is the only way to beat overwhelm. It's very simple. Just take the next step. Then, after you get done with that one, take the one after that. Here's the thing. Some of us say, but Don, I can't do that because I don't know what step to take next. Well, here's what you do. It probably doesn't matter, because here's what happens. If you take the next step, but that step required something else to be done before you could do that, you'll figure that out really quickly. And then that thing that has to be done before you can do the step you wanted to do becomes your next step. You just take the one that you were doing and move it down a step, do the thing, the predecessor to that, and just keep doing that until you actually arrive at the next step. The important thing is that you're actually taking steps. By the way, I'm going to give you a hint here. And this is where your body's natural reaction to overwhelm is wrong. Because your body's natural reaction is to, I can just ignore that. But the problem is, ignored tasks usually just don't go away. Okay, I don't have enough money to pay my rent this month. Well, you can just ignore it. But any task that you ignore has consequences for ignoring them. It can be you get kicked out of your apartment. It can be that you don't get the opportunity that came with that. Whatever it is, there are always consequences for ignoring the next step. And by the way, this also applies with your most feared tasks. So I don't want to do this because I'm scared of what I'm going to have to do after that, or I'm scared of what the results will be. Well, guess what? Ignoring them also has consequences that are oftentimes far more damaging than just doing them. What I have found is it's better to deal with them and deal with them quickly, because what that does is it takes them off your chest. It removes that worry, that thing in your brain that is causing you way more stress than just doing those things and dealing with the consequences of doing them. The consequences of not doing them are much greater than the consequences of doing them. And by the way, don't worry. Actually, that's not right. It's not don't worry. Don't even think about the 14th step, because that's down the road. What you've got to do is each day take one step towards taking care of several different things that are on your overwhelm shelf. Because what I find is I rarely get overwhelmed because of one project. It's because I got 16 things that I got to get done. And so what I do is I take each one of those 16 things, and each day I do one thing on each one of them. And then I take the rest of my time I have available and I take several steps towards accomplishing something. That way I've moved forward towards removing overwhelm for everything on my plate, and I've made significant progress towards one of them. Now, if you don't have physical time to do all of those, choose 3 that you're going to take a single step on, and then 1 that you're going to take some significant progress on. This way, you're always progressing, and as a result, you're always succeeding. And you need to acknowledge that. That's a big key in dealing with overwhelm, is that you need to acknowledge the fact that you are making some progress towards it. What that tends to do is then your overwhelm decreases, because your brain starts to realize, hey, you are making progress, you are moving towards this, and it sees some hope. Overwhelm, I have found, is a lack of hope. It's a hopelessness of, how am I ever going to get out of this? And when you're acknowledging your progress, that hopelessness decreases. And while you're doing that, it tends to make the frozen deer in the headlights disappear. That deer that got so scared it just does nothing, which is part of, again, your body's natural reaction to overwhelm is to say, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I've got so much to do. I'll just do nothing. That's what creates the Netflix effect, where you just want to go sit in front of Netflix for the whole day. By the way, in this entire process, it helps to have somebody to talk to just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm working on. It helps you to get clarity. And ideally, they're a person that will push back and help you understand that you need to stop doing some things that aren't working for you, to help guide you in this process and help you recognize when you're shooting yourself in the foot. So that's the solution that I have found to overwhelm, is to just take the next step. Don't worry 14 steps down the road, just take the next step. If you got several things you're overwhelmed with, take one step on each and then choose one thing and make several steps on it. And so that way you are constantly moving forward, and then acknowledge it so your brain says, oh, I am making progress towards that. That'll help you in the end. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.